This video will be the last video for our work in Chapter 12. We will be doing Chapter 12.23, where it's asking us to process scores in a text file on the web. The question or the instructions say, suppose that the text file on the web, and it gives us the URL, contains an unspecified number of scores. We're going to write a program that reads these scores and displays their total and average. The scores are separated by blanks. That's very important to know that these scores are separated by blanks. Now what I have here is just the URL, and you guys can visit this same site here, and you'll see the scores here. So we just have 2 lines of data here, and as you can see, there's a space separating each score. I'm going to show you the code for this. I've already have the code written for you, and I'm going to just quickly walk you through these steps. So the first part is just the header information, and we're importing 2 things: a scanner. We're going to use the scanner object to grab the file. As a matter of fact, I'm going to get rid of line 9. We don't even need line 9. Okay. So I have a scanner object, and we'll talk about how we're going to use that to grab the data. And let's go ahead and go into that. So I'm going to do a try, and the reason why I have a try is because I'm grabbing something from the internet. I need, there's going to be some exceptions handling here with a couple of classes. One would be the URL class, which I'll talk about in a second, and the other one could be the scanner class itself. For the URL class, if the internet is not available or this file isn't there, that can generate an error. Okay, so now let me talk about what you see here. I could import java.net.url. As a matter of fact, I'll do that just to make it, I don't want to confuse you guys. So java.net.url. So I've created a URL object. Oh, this needs to be URL. Okay, create a URL object. And I am saying this URL points to this web address. Now I want to put a scanner object onto that web address, and I do that on line 21. As you can see, we've worked with scanners before. In most cases, what would go inside the parentheses would be the system.in. And when we do that, we're saying attach this scanner object to the input console to read user input. In this particular case, we're saying attach this scanner object to this file. Okay. Now, because we're doing averages and counting, I've created a sum variable and a count variable to help me do this much quickly. Now, this statement on line 26. Well, input.hasNext. I think we've encountered this before, but I'll quickly explain this. When the input on line 21, there's a scanner object that points to the contents line by line in my file, and it's pointing to the 0th line. And that input.hasNext says, peek ahead and see, do I have more lines available to read from? If I do, then continue. If I don't, then we get outside the while loop, because that statement will be false. So when I get to the end of the file, he will return false because there's nothing else. There's nothing after this. Okay. So now I move this pointer down by using the statement in line 28, where I say input.next line. So it's grabbing the next line, and I'm storing him into a string called line. The next statement is where I split or I separate the contents of that particular line. Let me go ahead and go revisit the text file itself. Again, like I said, it's really important to know that these numbers are separated by spaces. And because they're all separated by spaces, I can do a split and say for each space, you're going to store what comes before the space into an element, into this array called token, or toke, short for token. Okay? So let me put them side by side so you guys can see this. This number 34 goes into the 0th element in toke. This goes to the 1st element in toke, 2nd, and so forth and so forth. Okay. Now that I have that array filled, I create an enhanced for loop that takes one element out, and we're going to process that element. Because he's a string, I need to convert him to an int. Add him to sum, just increment him, or not increment, but add him to sum, and then we're going to increment the count. Do that for each line, and when my while loop is over, I go down to line 39, print out the sum, and I print out the average here, I have to convert first to a double. That way I can avoid doing integer division. And I have my catch statement because, again, we have a try. And voila, we have this code completed. Let me go ahead and just show you so it's already been compiled, and I'll just run it one more time so you can see it. So the sum is 800 and the average is 33.333. So this completes now the final assignment for Chapter 12, and we will now head into Chapter 13.